What if the secret to lasting prosperity was not hidden in rapid gains, but in the quiet patience of steady progress? Imagine a man sitting by a small stream. Every day, he brings a single stone and places it in the water, shaping a tiny path that slowly guides the current. Days pass, then months, and eventually the stream begins to change course. That is how real halo wealth works, not through haste or speculation, but through deliberate, mindful action repeated with discipline. In today's fast-moving world, people are told that wealth must be chased. They are told that success belongs to those who act fast, take big risks, and multiply their money overnight. Yet, time has proven that such speed often collapses under its own weight. When profit becomes detached from real value, it begins to drift away from both wisdom and ethics. The philosophy of slow, deliberate wealth accumulation rejects this illusion. It teaches that money, like character, grows best under patience. This approach begins with a simple truth. Wealth is not an event. It is a process. To be deliberate means to act with intention and purpose. It is to know why you are earning, how you are earning, and what good your wealth will bring to others. A fast profit can impress, but a consistent halo income can sustain generations. Consider a small shopkeeper in an American city who sells honest goods. His store is not fancy. He earns a modest income, saves a little each month, and avoids debt that charges interest. He invests only where he understands the business, perhaps in a friend's halo food venture, or by buying small shares of companies that trade in permissible goods. 10 years later, he owns his store outright, has a rental property that gives him steady returns, and carries no debt. His growth was slow, but deliberate. Every decision was guided by values, not by greed. Slow accumulation requires 3 essential virtues: patience, planning, and consistency. Patience protects you from the noise of the market when others rush toward hype. Patience reminds you that real wealth is built through time-tested principles. Planning gives you direction. Without it, even patience turns into delay. And consistency is what transforms small acts into great results. Saving $100 each month may seem small, but over years it becomes a strong foundation. The deliberate path also guards the heart from anxiety. When wealth is pursued with haste, worry becomes constant, markets rise and fall, emotions follow. But the one who builds slowly finds peace. In progress, each step is intentional. Each investment is chosen not for thrill, but for stability. There is comfort in knowing that your money serves real purposes: trade, ownership, and contribution to society. Halo Finance naturally aligns with this philosophy. It forbids the shortcuts of interest and speculation, encouraging transactions tied to actual goods, services, and shared risk. When you buy an asset, rent a property, or enter a profit-sharing partnership, your wealth becomes part of something real. You are not betting on price changes. You are participating in production and exchange. The outcome may take time, but it is grounded in truth. This slow approach is not about rejecting ambition. It is about redefining it. True ambition is not measured by speed, but by sustainability. Many people rise fast and fall faster because their foundation is built on uncertainty. Deliberate wealth, however, grows like a tree. At first, it seems invisible as the roots form deep beneath the soil. But once established, it stands firm through storms. In the United States, this mindset can be especially powerful. The culture celebrates quick results and visible success. Yet the opportunities for steady halo growth are vast. Small business ownership, cooperative investments, real estate partnerships, and ethical funds all offer ways to build without compromise. The key is to stay focused on principles rather than trends. Every decision becomes an act of worship when intention is pure. Choosing honesty over convenience, saving consistently, avoiding unjust gain. These are forms of discipline that build both wealth and character. They transform finance into a moral craft, not a game of numbers. Deliberate accumulation also teaches you to value time differently. In a fast economy, time feels like an enemy, something that must be beaten. But in reality, time is the greatest ally of the patient investor. Compounding returns from halo trade or rental income reward those who wait. A person who reinvests small profits year after year eventually reaches a level that once seemed impossible. Time does not destroy value, it multiplies it when guided by discipline. This philosophy also brings balance to life. When wealth is pursued slowly, You remain connected to your family, community, and spiritual goals. There is no need to sacrifice peace for progress. Your growth is integrated with your values. You learn that financial freedom is not the absence of work, but the ability to choose meaningful work without fear. Slow, deliberate wealth accumulation does not promise ease. It demands commitment. It asks you to control desires, delay gratification, and trust the process. But the reward is deeper than numbers. It is stability, respect, and legacy. Every dollar earned through effort carries barakah, and that blessing makes a modest income more powerful than a large but uncertain fortune. When you look at history, the pattern is clear. Civilizations that valued moderation and fair trade thrived for centuries. Those built on greed and exploitation crumbled. The slow path, though quiet, endures. It mirrors the rhythm of nature, the way crops grow, rivers carve valleys, and wisdom develops through experience. Nothing valuable appears overnight. So the next time you feel pressure to chase the fastest return, pause and remember the stream and the stones. Wealth, when guided by purpose, moves in harmony with time. The goal is not to reach the destination tomorrow, but to walk the path with integrity today. Step by step, decision by decision, slow and deliberate wealth becomes more than money. It becomes a way of living that brings peace, purpose, and permanence. There is a quiet beauty in watching something grow slowly. A tree that rises over decades does not fight the wind every day. It bends, it learns, and it adapts. The same is true for those who seek wealth with wisdom. They do not rush to capture fortune, they build it layer by layer. Understanding that true prosperity is not measured by numbers alone, but by the harmony between wealth, purpose, and peace of heart. In a world that celebrates instant success, this mindset feels countercultural. Everywhere you look, screens are filled with stories of people becoming rich overnight. A viral product, a sudden stock rise, or a digital currency boom. But those stories hide the countless failures that never make headlines. Behind each fast fortune lies a trail of stress, imbalance, and at times, ethical compromise. The philosophy of slow, deliberate wealth accumulation does not deny opportunity. It simply insists on understanding and discipline before action. Imagine a young couple living in Texas. Both work regular jobs. One teaches, the other manages a small logistics business. Their dream is simple: to live debt-free and raise their children with security and faith. They begin with a plan that looks almost too modest. Each month they save a fixed amount, investing only in halal opportunities they can verify. They avoid interest-based credit cards, track expenses carefully, and build their emergency fund slowly. At first, progress feels invisible, but over 5 years, their savings grow, their small investments start to yield income, and their lifestyle remains balanced. They are not rich in the way social media defines it, yet they have built something priceless: control, peace, and direction. Deliberate accumulation is not about speed, but about sequence. It means doing the right step at the right time. Before investing, one must learn to manage cash flow. Before growing wealth, one must learn to protect it. Each phase prepares the ground for the next. The mistake many people make is trying to jump straight to the growth stage without stability. It is like planting seeds in soil that has not been prepared. The roots will never hold. The first building block of slow wealth is clarity. You must know what enough means for you. Without defining it, greed becomes endless. The one who chases limitless gain will always feel poor, even with abundance. Deliberate wealth creation starts with setting a personal financial purpose, perhaps to build a home, to educate children, to support charitable causes, or to achieve independence from debt. When the destination is clear, every step feels meaningful. The second element is structure. Structure brings discipline to patience. A written plan, no matter how simple, gives your wealth direction. You can begin with 3 basic accounts: one for daily needs, one for long-term saving, and one for investment. Separating these prevents confusion and emotional spending. Automation can help, but self-awareness is even more powerful. The act of consciously setting aside a portion of income every month builds both habit and humility. Third comes investment grounded in reality. In halal finance, wealth must be tied to real economic activity, trade, ownership, production, or services. When you invest in a halal business, a property, or a cooperative project, you participate in value creation. There is risk, but it is shared, transparent, and fair over time. Such investments reward patience far more than speculation ever could. The key is to understand what you invest in. Never follow hype, follow knowledge. A common misunderstanding is that slow wealth means small wealth. In truth, it means strong wealth, the kind that can survive downturns. A person who builds gradually learns resilience. They have seen both profit and loss, so they do not panic when markets shift. Their confidence is not in temporary numbers, but in their system and discipline. Let us look at a broader example. Consider the story of a group of friends in Chicago who decided to start a small halo cooperative. They pooled their savings to open a storage and distribution business for local halo restaurants. Each partner contributed not just money, but skill. One handled logistics, another managed clients, another managed finances. Their first year brought minimal profit, but they reinvested consistently. By the 5th year, they had expanded to multiple warehouses and offered jobs to others in their community. Their model was not glamorous, but it was ethical, stable, and real. They became proof that collective effort, guided by integrity, builds lasting prosperity. The philosophy of deliberate wealth also extends to personal habits. Wealth is not only created through earning, but preserved through behavior. Overspending, even in good times, weakens financial foundations. A slow wealth builder understands moderation. They choose durability over display, quality over quantity. They recognize that luxury loses meaning when it replaces gratitude. This mindset creates internal balance, a form of wealth that cannot be measured in currency. Patience in this philosophy is not passive waiting, it is active endurance. It means taking continuous steps, even when results are not visible. Imagine an investor who buys a small rental property. The first few years bring limited returns after maintenance costs and taxes. Yet each payment reduces the loan, each tenant adds stability, and over time the property becomes a source of steady halo income. The process teaches discipline, responsibility, and foresight, the true ingredients of wealth. Deliberate accumulation also thrives on community, connection. In a hyper-individualistic world, people often forget that shared growth creates stronger protection. The concept of cooperation, mutual help in business and finance, lies at the heart of sustainable wealth. When individuals invest together in halo ventures, they not only distribute risk, but multiply knowledge. Communities that trade fairly, support local businesses, and circulate money ethically become stronger over generations. In contrast, those who chase wealth alone often burn out or lose direction. The deliberate path reminds us that prosperity is not a competition, but a collective progress. A rising tide lifts every boat that stays near the shore. Slow wealth accumulation also aligns perfectly with spiritual and psychological well-being. Quick profits feed anxiety and restlessness, while slow progress nurtures gratitude. Each milestone feels earned, not accidental. Each achievement deepens faith in effort and patience. When your money and morals move in the same direction, the heart finds peace. There is also wisdom in embracing delays and setbacks. They are not failures but teachers. A delayed return tests your sincerity. Are you building wealth for pride or for purpose? A temporary loss refines your understanding of risk and reminds you to rely on principles, not luck. The deliberate builder learns to adjust without abandoning the mission. They see time as an ally, not an obstacle. In modern financial systems, where credit and speculation dominate, slow, asset-based accumulation becomes an act of quiet resistance. It preserves dignity. It returns control to the individual. By refusing to depend on interest-based loans, you keep ownership of your labor. By choosing halo trade, you anchor your wealth in real work. You move from being a consumer of money to a contributor of value. Over the years, deliberate accumulation transforms not just finances, but character. It shapes how you think about effort, trust, and responsibility. It teaches that wealth is a tool, not an identity. The moment money becomes your identity, patience disappears and comparison takes over. But when wealth is seen as a means to goodness, it becomes light, not burden. Let us imagine the same couple from Texas 15 years later. Their children are older. Their rental properties generate income. Their savings have grown through consistent halo investments. They have helped fund small community projects and supported relatives through education. Their wealth carries stories, not just numbers. Every asset they own reflects intention and honesty. Their journey was long, but every step was real. This is the heart of the philosophy. Deliberate wealth is meaningful wealth. It grows within limits, guided by principles, and serves more than the self. It values relationships over returns, legacy over luxury. Such wealth does not fade because it was never built on illusion. As you walk your own financial path, remember that slow does not mean late. Every patient decision plants a seed. Every ethical choice protects that seed. Over time, they become a garden of stability, not just for you, but for those who come after. And perhaps the greatest lesson is this: when you slow down, you begin to see clearly. You understand that the purpose of wealth is not to own more, but to worry less. It is not to escape work, but to make work meaningful. It is not to compete, but to contribute. That is the philosophy of slow, deliberate wealth accumulation, a way of living where prosperity and peace walk side by side, growing quietly, faithfully, and forever in balance with time.